Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal 134 based on novel. So let's start. You provoked me twice, and now that I came here today, you ask me who I am. Wang Lin's voice was very calm. It was impossible to tell if he was happy or angry. Your name is Wang. I don't remember offending anyone named Wang. The short old man's expression was gloomy as he sat inside the castle. He could easily tell that Wang Lin was not simple. This person had truly reached the early stage of ascendant and now had his own Tao. Among the three women before the old man, Sun Yunshan's little sister, Sun Ruonan, softly said, He should be Wang Lin. Wang Lin. The short old man was startled, and his expression immediately became gloomy. He had never thought that the little cultivator that he wanted to capture and turn into a celestial guardian on a whim would now be at this level of cultivation. If he had knew about this back then, he would have never provoked Wang Lin given his personality. The short old man pondered a bit and slowly said, Fellow cultivator Wang, earlier it was me being reckless, offending you twice. You have already killed 2 of my celestial guardians, so we are even. Today I won't make it hard for you, so you can leave. After today, our paths will not cross. When his words reached the 3 women before him, the 3 women were surprised. The 3 of them had a very good understanding of this old ancestor. Although this person's cultivation level was high, he was narrow-minded. Now that someone had come knocking on his door, not only did he not attack, he was even letting this Wang Lin go. This was especially true for Sun Ruonan. Although she didn't know much about Wang Lin, she thought that no matter how fierce he was, he couldn't compare to the old ancestor. It has to be said that the ancestor was a celestial. He only needed 1 spell to completely trap 4 peak late-stage soul transformation cultivators. Not to mention the fact that the ancestor still had 8 more celestial guardians. She just didn't believe they would lose if all 8 celestial guardians attacked at once. After hearing the old man's words, Wang Lin continued to walk toward the castle. He shook his head and said, 2 celestial guardians are merely 2 broken jades. How can that cancel out your crime of offending me? The expression of the short old man inside the castle changed. His eyes released a ray of golden light and he gloomily said, What an arrogant person. You are merely an early-stage ascendant cultivator. Do you really think I can't kill you? The remaining 8 celestial guardians, summon the celestial emperor and kill this man. After he said that, 8 figures suddenly flew out from the castle. There were women and men among the 8 of them. Their figures moved like lightning and they gave off the pressure and aura of ascendant cultivators. Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he coldly looked at the 8 of them. The 8 of them suddenly sat down in the lotus position. The positions they sat in created a formation that contained a sense of heavenly law. Their hands continuously formed different seals. Then an aura filled with celestial spiritual energy exploded forth from their bodies. The aura fused together in a strange manner above them. It turned into a phantom in the sky that gave off bursts of celestial spiritual energy. This phantom gradually became solid and suddenly turned into a middle-aged man. This man was wearing a green robe, had a head of flowing hair, and held a green longsword in his hand. An aura like the heavens might spread out from this phantom. At this moment, all of the surrounding cultivators knelt and respectfully said, Lower realm cultivators greet Celestial Emperor. The old man's laughter came from within the castle. His tone was filled with arrogance as he shouted, Wang Lin, this old man won't lie to you. I am originally from the Celestial Realm. After the Celestial Realm shattered, I arrived here due to luck. All of my spells are real celestial spells, they are not things you can resist. It is not too late for you to leave now, but if you truly provoke me, you will without a doubt die. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light when he saw the phantom of the middle-aged man holding the green sword. He raised his right hand and the sky darkened. The underworld river descended and circled around Wang Lin, then it charged directly at the phantom of the middle-aged man. At this moment, the celestial spiritual energy within the 8 celestial guardians exploded forth like a raging storm. The celestial spiritual energy entered the phantom through the seal in their hands. Then an unimaginable majesty suddenly spread out from the middle-aged man. The phantom's eyes seemed to gain intelligence as he stared at Wang Lin, then he pointed his green sword at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's pupils suddenly shrank. Although the action of pointing the sword had no attack power, Wang Lin had the urge to retreat. He felt as if his origin soul would collapse if he didn't retreat. This kind of feeling was extremely strong, but it wasn't something Wang Lin hadn't encountered before. The divine retribution back then also had this power. Wang Lin cultivated against the heavens and had a very firm Tao heart. He forced himself to not retreat, and not only that, he even took a step forward. However, he had only taken a half a step when the 8 celestial guardians coughed out blood and their eyes dimmed. The blood they coughed out contained all of the celestial and life energy in their bodies. These 8 mouthfuls of blood were absorbed by the middle-aged man. Suddenly, his gaze toward Wang Lin became even more intelligent. At the moment Wang Lin's step was about to land, he opened his mouth and spoke a silent word. This word was silent, but Wang Lin's ears were filled with an unimaginable rumble. Wang Lin took a deep breath and closed his eyes. His foot suddenly landed. At the moment his step landed, the 8 celestial guardians' bodies trembled and their eyes went completely dark. At the same time, the underworld river swept by. The phantom of the middle-aged man trembled before shattering. That terrifying feeling completely disappeared. What a powerful illusionary attack! Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he let out a cold snort. He began moving forward once more and fused with the underworld river. The underworld river moved like a yellow dragon and directly passed by the 8 celestial guardians sitting on the ground. At the moment he passed by, the bodies of the 8 celestial guardians collapsed. They were trapped inside the underworld river and could never escape. 8 broken jades flew out and were caught by Wang Lin, then he threw them into his bag of holding. An angry roar came out from the castle and a strand of very pure celestial spiritual energy exploded forth. The strand continued to condense as it shot out toward Wang Lin. The underworld river around Wang Lin suddenly rose up and formed a pillar that could support the heavens. Wang Lin was inside the underworld river when the strand of celestial spiritual energy entered the river and disappeared within. Wang Lin was inside the underworld river as he softly said, "Activate." The underworld river suddenly scattered and turned into a vortex. It swept the area, causing the White Castle to suddenly collapse. The sounds of earth rumbling echoed across the land. The short old man charged out and floated in the air. The 3 women that were cultivating with him also flew out and coldly watched from the sidelines. The short old man looked extremely shifty. He didn't look like a cultivator at all and instead looked like a thief. He was filled with anger as he shouted at Wang Lin, "Wang Lin, I have endured many times because I didn't want to become your enemy, but you are really ungrateful. Considering it is difficult for lower realm cultivators to reach your cultivation level, I'll leave you a path of survival. Leave now, but if you continue to enrage me, then don't blame me for ruthlessly killing you." Wang Lin's eyes became cold, but he didn't speak. Instead, he pointed his finger forward and a finger of death charged at the old man. The old man's expression changed and a trance of solemnity flashed across his eyes. He took a deep breath and then suddenly spat out thick celestial spiritual energy. It formed a celestial fog that immediately surrounded the finger of death. There were sizzling sounds coming from within, and then they actually cancelled each other out. "Wang Lin, you forced me." The short old man's expression was gloomy as he touched his bag of holding and took out a fist-sized blue jade. The old man formed a seal and shouted, "Celestial seed." The blue jade immediately shook and began to move in a strange manner. It then turned into countless blue threads and let out a sharp hum as the threads spread out like dancing snakes. The moment the blue threads appeared, the surrounding cultivators' expressions became ugly. Their eyes were filled with fear. Looking at the countless blue threads, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with light, and he slowly said, "Celestial beast feed." Although the surrounding cultivators had no idea what Wang Lin was talking about, the short old man's expression changed once more. He exclaimed, "You know." Wang Lin had a feeling that he had seen it before when he saw the blue threads inside Sun Yunshan. Thinking about it carefully, this was clearly the celestial beast feed he encountered in the celestial realm when he teamed up with a Da Lu sword sect disciple. He didn't explain this to Sun Yunshan. The old man couldn't be bothered with why Wang Lin recognized this. After he obtained the celestial beast feed, he still wasn't able to completely control it. Now that he had taken them all out, it was clearly an act of desperation. Normally, with his mid-stage ascendant cultivation, he shouldn't be like this. However, he had his own difficulties that he couldn't speak of, so he acted like this. Devour him. As the short old man shouted, his hand formed a seal and pointed at the countless blue strands. Hundreds and thousands of blue threads rushed toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin wasn't unfamiliar with this scene. Back then he faced an army of celestial beast feeds hundreds and thousands of times larger. Right now there were merely 1,000, so he wasn't nervous at all. He slapped his bag of holding and a normal soul flag appeared in his hand. Before he came here, he already had his doubts, so he was prepared. He shook the flag and the Chelene he obtained in the soul refining sect appeared. Although this beast was only the soul of a Chelene, it still had some inheritance. Now that it appeared, it let out a roar. Its body trembled and its large head suddenly locked onto the incoming celestial beast feed. The Chelene's eyes suddenly released a burst of golden light. Its gaze was like a demon who had been starving for tens of thousands of years and had finally seen food. Celestial Chelene. After the short old man saw Wang Lin release a Chelene, he suddenly realized that something was wrong. Then he saw the Chelene's gaze and his heart trembled. All of the celestial beast feeds trembled when the Chelene appeared. It was as if they had just met their natural enemy. They all let out sharp shrills and without any hesitation they turned around to escape. Not only the ones in the sky, but even the cultivators on the ground began to tremble as if they were enduring a lot of pain. Green lines appeared on the heads of the cultivators and condensed into dots on each of their heads. Seeing that those celestial beast feeds were about to escape, the Chelene let out invisible gas from its nose. This gas spread out like a roar, and it contained a mysterious force within it. All of the surrounding celestial beast feeds trembled and didn't dare to escape anymore. The Chelene arrived next to the celestial beast feeds and inhaled all of them. The celestial beast feeds were converted into an energy that was very nutritious for celestial beasts. This scene caused the short old man to become dumbfounded. The Chelene licked its lips and stared at the green dots on the cultivators' heads. Clearly it hadn't eaten its fill. The short old man's expression became ugly and then he quickly took out another item from his bag of holding. What he took out was a brush. The body of the brush was crystal clear, but the tip was snow white as if it had never touched ink before. The moment he took it out, it released a sense of majesty. Even the Chelene couldn't help but reveal a sense of shock under this sense of majesty. After he took it out, he gave Wang Lin a ferocious stare and shouted, "Little brat Wang Lin, since you recognize the celestial beast feed, do you recognize this?" Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He didn't speak but slapped his bag of holding, and the god-slaying war chariot appeared. After its true inheritance had been activated, the weakness of its slow activation had disappeared. The short old man shouted, "Even you don't know what this is. Let me tell you, this is something I carried around with me back in the celestial realm. I used it to enlighten lower realm cultivators. This old man is really considering the fact that it's very difficult for you to cultivate this far, so scram now. If you don't scram, then I'll really attack." Wang Lin looked at the old man and slowly said, "You don't need to keep telling me to leave. I have already noticed that although you are at the mid-stage of ascendant, you are just like those celestial guardians. None of you have any origin energy inside your bodies." The short old man's greatest secret was revealed by Wang Lin. Feeling furious from embarrassment, he waved the brush in his hand. Then he coughed out a mouthful of blood and drew a symbol with the brush. The moment the symbol appeared, a powerful force began to spread from the symbol. Wang Lin revealed hint of shock for the first time, but soon that shock turned into excitement. He stared at the symbol and then his gaze turned to the brush. The excitement in his eyes turned into unimaginable joy. Wang Lin wasn't unfamiliar with this symbol. It was exactly the same as the one he encountered on the path outside of the cave. He had studied this symbol many times and had also drawn it many times, but they displayed no power. He could never reproduce the amazing power of the four-stroke symbol, and he always regretted it in his heart. However, at this moment, he saw the symbol again from this short old man. Although this symbol was only one stroke, it was a real symbol and it was very powerful. Wang Lin's gaze caused the short old man's heart to tremble. He wasn't unfamiliar with this gaze. When the Chilean saw those celestial beast feeds, it had the same gaze. Just at this moment, Wang Lin released the most intense battle intent since entering the demon spirit land. He pointed at the god-slaying war chariot and shouted, "Thunder beast!" Lightning and thunder suddenly appeared in the sky and landed directly on the chariot. At the same time, the silver-horned thunder beast appeared under the strikes of lightning. The moment it appeared, it let out a roar. Its roar caused changes in the clouds and caused the sky to rumble. The entire sky was immediately covered in lightning. At this moment, the Chilean also began to roar. Although its roar wasn't as powerful as the thunder beast's, it wasn't weak either. This roar caused all of the green dots to be shaken out of the surrounding cultivators' bodies, and they were devoured by the Chilean. Right after that happened, the symbol drawn by the brush flew out toward Wang Lin. But just at this moment, the thunder beast let out a roar and stepped forth. Strands of lightning descended from the sky, creating an incredible scene of lightning raining down. A series of lightning bolts descended from the sky and landed on the symbol. Although this symbol's power was great, the short old man seemed to only know this one stroke, so he couldn't display its true power. He could only watch as the symbol was weakened by the lightning strikes until it collapsed. After being stunned for a moment, the short old man's body trembled. He was afraid, and without any hesitation, he turned around to escape. Several hundred years after he had that lucky encounter, he managed to take control of a large number of cultivators. However, because he was cautious, or to be more accurate, he was very timid, he never dared to provoke ascendant cultivators or demon general level people. His timidness was innate. He had reached the late stage of soul transformation a long time ago, but he didn't have the slightest bit of courage to try to reach the ascendant stage. He was afraid of death. However, he gradually forgot about this caution after he gathered 10 celestial guardians. He began to personally act to catch more cultivators to fuse with the broken jades. He hoped to cultivate more experts at the level of the celestial guardians. What is this damn Wang Lin's background? How can he be this powerful? Damn it, if I can escape this time, I'll definitely smash the head of the cultivator from ancient demon city who told me news of Wang Lin. As the short old man escaped, he cursed in his heart. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with passion. Even if he had to use all of the celestial spiritual energy in his body, he wouldn't let this short old man escape. His eyes were completely red right now. However, this wasn't red from slaughter but red from the treasure in the old man's hand. In Wang Lin's eyes, the old man was a moving treasure chest. Wang Lin was very puzzled. If this old man had this many treasures, how come no one had come to steal them from him throughout all these years? He didn't know that this old man had always been timid and careful. It was only in these past few decades that he had gotten more bold. Before, when the old man captured cultivators, he only caught cultivators from small sects. However, recently he had become bold and began to capture disciples of large sects. Capturing the Heavenly Fate sect's Blue Division disciple was one of his bold performances. Although this short old man was at the mid-stage of Ascendant, he obtained it through special methods. As a result, if he encountered a weak early-stage Ascendant cultivator, he could still hold his own. However, if he met someone like Wang Lin, who could match real mid-stage Ascendant cultivators, his power was really insignificant. In addition, although he had powerful treasures, he could barely use most of them. He could only use them on a superficial level. To be able to display just 1% of their power was his limit. As the short old man quickly escaped, he felt like he had gone back to before he had that lucky encounter and was still a late-stage soul transformation cultivator being chased by powerful cultivators. His heart was furious and he cursed Wang Lin. However, a ray of black light quickly closed in from behind him. The old man quickly drew a symbol with the brush to block the spell. Then he mercilessly took a step with his right foot and his body released a burst of fire. When the fire disappeared, he also disappeared. Wang Lin's eyes became even more red. Although the old man's skill was quite poor, he sure had mastered the art of escaping. In half an hour of time, this person had already used 10 spells that even caused Wang Lin to be shocked. This was the 11th escape spell that was completely different from the last 10. Wang Lin sneered and teleported away. He spread out his divine sense and immediately found the short old man 15,000 kilometers away. The fire disappeared from the old man's body and then he quickly flew away. He suddenly revealed a bitter expression as Wang Lin's figure appeared from the void before him and charged at him. The old man revealed a look of hesitation. He clenched his teeth and then threw the brush in his hand away. The brush floated in the air and ripples appeared around it. It seemed like it was about to penetrate through the void and disappear. After the old man threw the brush, he quickly formed a seal. A metal aura appeared and quickly surrounded his whole body. Then he immediately rushed away from Wang Lin, and his speed had unexpectedly increased 100-fold. Little brat Wang Lin, that celestial brush truly belonged to a celestial. If that disappears into the void, it will be very difficult for you to find it again. The old man's voice slowly came from the distance. Wang Lin's expression remained neutral and his right hand touched his bag of holding. The celestial sword and the half-moon blade flew out. Shu Ligua's figure appeared, and without Wang Lin giving him any orders, he already knew what Wang Lin wanted. He let out a roar as he looked at the black blade and shouted, "Little Black, speed! Speed! I want to catch that brush." The black blade flashed and disappeared. It carried Shu Ligua directly into the void. Wang Lin took a step and activated the greater teleportation spell to chase after the short old man. As the old man escaped, he noticed Wang Lin chasing after him and immediately began to cry. He thought, what does he want? I already threw away my celestial brush, why doesn't he let me go? He detected that Wang Lin was quickly closing in with his divine sense. He clenched his teeth and took out a net that was glowing green. The old man mumbled to himself, compared to the divine soul brush, my control of this celestial capture net is even weaker, so I have never used it against an enemy. I beg you, celestial capture net, this time you must recognize the right enemy. It can be considered fate that I found you, right? This time you must not trap me. He really wasn't willing to use this celestial capture net unless it was his last resort. To him, this net was simply too strange. After he obtained it, he used it while no one was around to see what power it had. He didn't expect the net to trap him instead, and it lasted for 3 days. After that, he hesitated for a long time, but he wasn't willing to give up, so he tried again. This resulted in him trapping himself for another 3 days. It was only at the 3rd attempt that he managed to trap the piece of wood he was using for this experiment. The old man had a sad expression as he held the celestial capture net. He decided to not run anymore and stood still. He knew very well that he was an empty mid-stage ascendant cultivator. It would be far too difficult for him to escape from Wang Lin, who had his own Dao and had reached the ascendant on his own. It was only a matter of time before he was caught. So he decided to risk it this time. If this celestial capture net's mood was good, it would trap Wang Lin for 3 days. With a head start of 3 days, if he wanted to run, Wang Lin wouldn't be able to catch him no matter what. If he decided not to run and captured Wang Lin, then he might be able to use some drugs refine Wang Lin into a real low-quality celestial guardian like what was recorded in the Jade. Thinking about the power of low-quality celestial guardians that was recorded in the Jade, the short old man's heart was moved. The celestial guardians he refined had all been defective and simply didn't meet the requirements recorded on the mysterious Jade. The Jade stated that the chance of refining celestial guardians from soul transformation cultivators was very slim. If it was an ascendant cultivator, the success rate would increase a bit, but it was still very low. Only peak late-stage ascendant cultivators could make the success rate reach 1 in every 10,000. Of course, there were special cases. Those who had their own Dao could also reach the 1 in 10,000 chance. The old man held the celestial capture net with this in mind. In just a few breaths of time, Wang Lin appeared from the void in front of the old man. Almost at the moment Wang Lin appeared, the old man shouted and threw the celestial capture net. The net suddenly expanded indefinitely, becoming the sky and earth. Wang Lin had already noticed the old man's net with his divine sense. Considering how cautious Wang Lin was, he secretly analyzed that this treasure was not simple. After the old man took out this treasure, He even stopped running. This showed how confident the old man was in the power of this treasure. Although Wang Lin didn't know why the old man hadn't taken out the treasure earlier, his vigilance increased. The moment he appeared, he prepared countless teleportation spells under his feet. With just a thought, he could penetrate anything and force his way out of here. The celestial capture net fused with the world. There was a ray of green light from the sky, and at the same time a ray of green light came from the earth. The two rays of green light suddenly charged out and closed in on each other. Trap him! Trap him! Trap him! The short old man seemed to have gone mad as he stared at the green light. He went from muttering to himself to a frantic roar. Trap him! It must trap him! The old man's face was flushed, his fists were clenched, and the veins on his face were swelled up. Wang Lin let out a cold snort. This green light was simply too strange, he couldn't even penetrate it with his divine sense. With how cautious Wang Lin was, he immediately began to activate the greater teleportation spell to escape this green light. However, just at this moment, the green light suddenly sped up and began to contract at an unimaginable speed. It was just that. The target it was going for wasn't Wang Lin but the almost crazy short old man. The old man's face was extremely pale. He quickly retreated and repeatedly muttered, "Don't tie me up. Don't tie me up. Don't tie me up. I got all of you out of there, you can't tie me up. You can't tie me up. Ah. I'm begging you, celestial capture net, leave me a path of survival." While Wang Lin was startled, the green light flashed and surrounded the old man. The old man's body was covered in flames as he attempted to escape, but as soon as the flames appeared, they immediately dissipated. The old man revealed a sad expression and shouted, "You ungrateful celestial capture net. You only tie me up and never tie up the enemy." A golden light burst forth from the old man but immediately disappeared. "Your original owner must be dead because of you." The bitterness in the old man's heart couldn't even be expressed by words anymore. He kept activating spells, but even after he activated more than 10 different escape spells, all of them failed. He could only watch the green light completely surround him. The green light disappeared and turned into the slightly glowing celestial capture net. The short old man was completely tied up to the point where he couldn't even move his finger. Then he was delivered to Wang Lin. Wang Lin had battled countless enemies in his life, but this was the first time in more than 700 years that he had seen his enemy trapped by their own treasure and delivered right to him. Wang Lin believed that even if 7,000 years were to pass, it would be very difficult to encounter a similar scene. Even with Wang Lin's mental strength, he couldn't help but become startled after seeing this. This clearly showed just how surprised he was. Wang Lin didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but at the same time, his dread for the celestial capture net instantly reached an incredible degree. He personally saw the old man use many escape spells, and all of them failed under the power of the celestial capture net. The old man that was tied up by the celestial capture net and delivered to Wang Lin felt wronged as he looked at Wang Lin, and he angrily shouted, "Never seen someone who delivers themselves. This old man's treasure failed, so what?" Even with Wang Lin's temperament, he couldn't help but smile after hearing this. This kind of smile was extremely rare for Wang Lin. The short old man let out a snort. At this moment, he stopped caring. His timid temperament had been endlessly repressed. He thought that he was the most wronged cultivator in the cultivation world. He clearly had a lucky encounter that would make anyone envious, but in the end, he was ruined by the treasures he obtained during that lucky encounter. This old man was unlucky this time. "If you want to kill me and what not, just do it." Although the old man said this, he couldn't help but become nervous. Wang Lin withdrew his smile and returned to his original indifference. Then he grabbed the old man and disappeared. Back at the castle, most of the cultivators took the chance to escape when Wang Lin chased after the old man. Without the celestial seeds, they immediately regained their freedom. However, there were some that didn't leave. Sun Ruonan was one of them. She was staring at the sky with a complex expression in her eyes. No one knew what she was thinking about. Wang Lin's body appeared from the void and coldly looked at the remaining people. There were only a few people remaining. When they saw Wang Lin, they all respectfully clasped their hands at Wang Lin and constantly thanked him. all except Sun Ruonan, who acted like she didn't see Wang Lin at all and continued to stare at the sky in a daze. Wang Lin clasped his hands at the leaving cultivators as a gesture, and then his left hand reached out. He grabbed Sun Ruonan and flew off into the distance. The remaining cultivators waited for Wang Lin to give their thanks. After seeing Wang Lin leave, they felt like the last several years were all a dream. They said their goodbyes and then scattered. "Let me go. What right do you have to capture me?" After Sun Ruonan was caught by Wang Lin, she immediately became sober and began to struggle. "Shut up." Wang Lin's voice landed on Sun Ruonan's body like a cold wind, and it immediately made her quiet. However, she soon sneered. "I know why you want to capture me. You want to use me as your cultivation furnace? Fine, do what do you want to me, but just let me go after." As Wang Lin flew, he turned around and looked toward the woman. His eyes were filled with ruthlessness and he looked at her as if he was looking at a corpse. He slowly said, "You don't have the qualifications to become my cultivation furnace." Wang Lin's speed was very fast. With a single step, he had already moved several tens of thousands of kilometers away. Sun Yunshan was anxiously standing there with more than 10 cultivators collapsed on the ground near him. He was feeling very disturbed when his eyes narrowed and a ray of light came from the distance and turned into Wang Lin. Wang Lin was holding a male and a female in his hands. Sun Yunshan's gaze first fell on the familiar female figure. Ruonan. Sun Yunshan's eyes were filled with joy, but it was soon replaced with a complex expression. He moved his gaze away from her and this time looked at Wang Lin's right hand. Ancestor. Even though Sun Yunshan was mentally prepared, he was still startled after seeing this. Wang Lin landed and waved his left hand. Sun Ruonan was thrown toward Sun Yunshan. Then his left hand reached toward the void and the Chilean beast rushed over. The moment the beast appeared, all of the green lines on the cultivator on the ground and Sun Yunshan began to tremble. Then they turned into dots and were devoured by the Chilean. This beast seemed to be very happy. It let out a roar before turning into a soul fragment and being retrieved by Wang Lin. "Brother Sun, the restriction has been removed and your little sister had been saved. As for your martial uncles, you have to find them on your own. As for the one inside my soul refining sect, I'll release him. Goodbye." With that, Wang Lin grabbed the short old man who claimed to be from the celestial realm and then teleported away. He was too lazy to pay attention to the dispute between these two siblings. Wang Lin's figure appeared inside the tower in the soul refining tribe. He casually threw the short old man to the ground and he sat down in the lotus position. His eyes glowed like torches as he touched his bag of holding and 3 rays of sword energy flew out. The tips of the swords released powerful, cold auras, and he pressed them on the old man's skin. These 3 swords were Zishu's, Mo Yang's, and Hai Zhu's. After being refined by Wang Lin, the sword energy of the 3 swords merged together. The fusion of the mastery of the 3 swords completed the activation of the 3 sword. This is Sword Saint Ling Tianho's triple talent sword formation. I don't know if you have heard of it. Wang Lin's voice was calm, but when it landed in the short old man's ears, it caused him to tremble. His small eyes quickly turned to look at the 3 treasured swords. Wang Lin slowly said, "After your celestial capture net releases you, if you make any movement, I'll let you know the mysteries of the triple talent sword formation." He found the name of the triple talent sword formation when he soul searched Hai Zhu's soul. The 12 swords were divided into groups of 3. If all 12 swords were activated, it would become the heaven-slaying 12 sword formation that Sword Saint Ling Tianho was very proud of. "Now tell me what your identity is." With Wang Lin's life experience, he was immediately able to tell how timid this old man was. His voice contained devilish energy as he said, "If you don't talk, I'll use the soul search spell. Then I'll refine your soul into a soul fragment so you can never enter the reincarnation cycle." This video will end here.